what a day it's been. It's been that sort of belly flop in the rain video. I mean, if you can, you do. I wish I could have done that today. I feel like that would have cooled things off because it has been a heated day in the college football landscape, and we're going to get into all of it. You're watching the College Football Show presented by AT&T 5G. Harry Douglas, Jason Fitz. For the next hour, we are going to give you all, I'm just going to be honest with you. For the next hour, things are going to get crazy. Last week, I had no idea that Harry was going to take off his belt and just sort of go wild. That pales in comparison to what I've heard over the course of the last several hours as Harry Douglas has been worked up about some coaching decisions that we've seen across the landscape today. I mean, fire. You don't get to get it off your chest yet, though. You got to hold it back a little bit on the College Football Show presented by AT&T 5G. We're going to get you caught up on everything, but we start today, obviously, with the big game we thought going in. My upset pick going in. Good God, Annabelle picked it. We were all wrong about this one. Stetson Bennett getting the start. Maybe that gave Arkansas hope, and then, I don't know, the game actually started. Zamir White runs it in for a 3-yard touchdown on that first drive. Georgia goes up 7-0. You think, just the beginning, but it was just beginning of an absolute slaughter. Later in the first, Bennett finds Kenny McIntosh for a 27-yard gain.
Who said he couldn't throw the football?
No, that is a fair point. He didn't throw it much, though. Kendall Minton here runs it in for the 1-yard touchdown. Georgia goes up 14-0. And you're thinking, no worries, it'll get under control, but it didn't. How about a block punt to add to the fun to make it 21-0?
They call it special teams because the people that are on those teams and on those units are special.
Yeah, well, it was a special moment there. Fourth quarter, 27-0. Zamir White, grown man run. He says, swiggity swooty, I'm going for the booty.
I'm stronger than you.
Oh, man, I don't want to oversimplify things, but there's no nice way to say this. This was a slaughter. I mean, I picked it thinking maybe I could get lucky here. Maybe it'd be a close game. Most of us coming into the day thought that the line was absolutely out of control on it. And instead, Georgia came in and said to the entire country, guess what? There's more than one great team in this country, and we're poised to be number one.
Georgia made a statement today.
Yeah.
They made a statement across the country to college football, to coaches, to Alabama, letting them know that they aren't the only team in the SEC. Georgia football does exist, but man, did they play a brand of football today? Remember last week I talked about how Arkansas, just about everybody they've played, they took to the woodshed? Not today. Not today, baby. Arkansas got took into the woodshed today.
And to that point, Harry, that's what it felt like we were seeing. Like Georgia came out and said, man, everybody's talking about this Arkansas defense and can they hold up? And I was curious on how points were going to come in this thing, especially with Stetson Bennett, who does have more starting than experience than a lot of backups have been coming in. But I was really curious to see what we were going to see. And frankly, if I had a vote today, right now, in the AP top poll, I would vote Georgia at number one. I think Georgia is the best team in the country. And the number one question we keep asking is, can their offense produce? And today, we saw, even on a day where they didn't necessarily have a passing game, they didn't need a passing game. They just crammed it down their throats.
Well, you look at the offense, and they did not have JT Daniels. They went to their backup quarterback, Stetson Bennett. He only threw 11 passes. He was 7 for 11, but when he did throw the football, he was efficient. But Arkansas, going into this game, what did I say? What did I say they could not do defensively? What with the defense line? What did I say they couldn't do?
You said they couldn't go 3-2.
You cannot play that 3-man front against a Georgia football team whose MO over the years has been running the football, physical play from the offensive linemen, physical running backs. What you've seen today from Georgia's football, Georgia's offense, they basically manhandled Arkansas. And Arkansas, a lot of times, looked slow. They didn't fill the right gaps. And they got punished by the offensive line of Georgia. And they basically, Georgia's offensive line ate the Arkansas defenders all day long.
Well, and this isn't the only example of this. I mean, this is not the only. Let's show you the score of the other big game that everybody was waiting here for. And that was obviously Ole Miss, Alabama. That's 42-21 in a game that wasn't that close. I mean, this game got out of control early, and there's a lot we're going to get into, but I want to stick with one thing you just talked about, because I was watching Game Day this morning, and Kirk Herbstreit was asking at the time Nick Saban about, hey, these new spread defenses are going 3-3-5 and 3-2-6, and is that going to be the way you slow down the spread? And Saban said, well, it makes sense, and he gave you all these reasons. And then Saban went out there against a team running that very defense and showed us exactly how you counter it. You just run the ball down their damn throats, and that's exactly what they did.
You know who else need to take notes on that? Oklahoma. They need to take notes on that when teams play them that way. But for these teams to continue, and I'm upset with Arkansas because if I knew going into the game they couldn't play that three-man front and just think they were going to stop Georgia offensively running the football, then they should have knew that, right? And then you look at the Ole Miss game, they're playing a three-man front, and what does Robinson do? He has a nice day today.
36 carries for 171 yards and 4 touchdowns. I mean, this was just a straight-up butt kicking in every possible way.
Yeah.
Lane Kiffin was talking that talk going in, saying, hey, I hope you brought your popcorn. And then all of a sudden, let's get to the big thing that had you worked up. Lane Kiffin failed Ole Miss today.
He failed Ole Miss miserably. He put this offense and this team in a bad position. You cannot go for 4th down on your own 31-yard line. You cannot go for 4th down against the Alabama team on your own 47-yard line because, number one, it's already hard to stop Alabama. Now you're basically just giving them points. You're starting them at midfield. You're starting them in your territory. And I just thought those decisions were not the best decisions, and that's bad football. Now, there's a difference between being confident and being cocky. Lane Kiffin today was being cocky, right? Going against Nick Saban, a guy he's coached under. And I did not like the coaching strategy, and I understand he said at halftime, and you've seen it in his body language, oh, you can't beat Alabama if you're punting the football and all this nonsense. Well, guess what? 3 of those 4th downs that you went for, Alabama scored 21 points off of those 4th downs that you did not get. So don't sit up here and tell me that you got to score points. But let me take my chances with my defense having Alabama at least backed up on the 10-yard line versus having the ball at midfield and on your own 31-yard line. That makes no sense to me. No, let me finish, Fitz. Let me finish. And it's a way you do things, right? Now, I can understand you going for it on the first drive, 4th down, you want to score a touchdown. That's understandable. Me, personally, I would have took the points because you drive all the way down the football field with the understanding that, okay, we wasted an entire drive, and guys feel deflated. And Nick, and what's his name again?
Lane Kiffin.
I can't even think of him. I'm so mad at him. And Lane Kiffin felt so deflated at halftime, giving that halftime speech, that he thought he had to defend himself instead of just talking about other things in the game.
Well, and it hits me, and everybody's going to tweet now saying, well, you can't punt and win. Look, at the end of the day, what you also did was you gave Alabama.
You can't be stupid either.
You gave them more possessions. I mean, that's part of this too. Like if you're going for it on your own 31 and your own 47 and you're not converting, you're giving them a short field. You're giving them more possessions throughout the course of the game.
I'm sorry, Fitz. I'm not even done. The fact that he thought about it, going for it inside of his own 10-yard line, blows my mind.
I had to blow a timeout because he kept the offense on the field in the second half when the game was already out of control, right? And it comes back, again, if you're punting the ball, at least you're forcing them to work as hard as possible to get down the field. Maybe you're not going to stop them, but you'll at least eliminate some of the possessions they have. This game got out of control because Lane Kiffin was playing a real football game like it was Madden. And when I used to be a really competitive Madden player, this was always the test for me. If I'm playing against you and you don't punt, we're not going to play again because I want as much of a simulation as possible. That's what he did in a real game. Let's stick to the real games. We'll get you caught up on the next one. Obviously, we had all eyes on today, and that was Cincinnati versus Notre Dame. We have a final in this one, 24-13. Notre Dame cannot find a quarterback, and they got beat handily by Cincinnati. Now, I said going into the year, I thought the chances that Cincinnati would go undefeated were pretty slim. Coming into the year, I thought Indiana would be good, and I thought that Notre Dame would be better. But as you can well attest to, I've long been the champion of I want Cincinnati to get into the playoffs. So this was a big step towards that. They get the landmark win they needed to get. Now let's see if Notre Dame's actually any good, though.
Yeah, this was a huge win for Cincinnati and that program. A lot of Notre Dame coaches actually coached at Cincinnati. So this was a big win for them. This is a big win for Desmond Ridder. I thought Desmond Ridder, when push came to shove, he showed up and made the plays, especially at the end when his team needed him the most. And for Notre Dame, I think they have a quarterback. I just think they started the wrong one today. They should have started their third-string quarterback, Drew Pine, because there's something about that young man, when he comes into the football game, he just gives that Notre Dame offense energy. He gives that Notre Dame offense hope. And there were a lot of plays down the stretch that he actually made throwing the football, and the receivers failed him because they dropped the football. So his stats right there, 9 for 22, I believe he was, are very, very tricky telling because he delivered the football. Those receivers just didn't help him out and was non-existent today.
Yeah, and you talked a lot about the nuance of route running and how his guys weren't getting the right leverage, and all of a sudden he's squeezing the ball into the right spot, but you can't make the play because you get the leverage on the defensive back. You know, this to me was about Cincinnati taking care of business. Let's take a look at the rest of their schedule moving ahead because this is obviously part of where this conversation comes from. They're number 7 right now. And then you look at what's ahead of them. They've got basically nothing ahead of them. All Cincinnati has to do now is remain focused throughout the course of the year, and they will have made the best case that any group of 5 could possibly make to get into the college football playoff. The problem is, as I said earlier, coming into the year, we thought Indiana was going to be a very good team. They're not ranked. Now, we thought that Notre Dame was going to be a top, 5-10 team coming into this year. It looks like Notre Dame could end up being more like a top 15 team. We'll see if that's enough.
And I'll tell you, when it comes to this Cincinnati football team, when you look at this schedule, Fitz, they can't have any hiccups in barely beating any of these teams left. They have to win convincingly and blow all these teams out and show the committee that they do belong despite their schedule.
Well, and one quick thing there, too, is Iowa and Penn State are ahead of them in the rankings. Iowa and Penn State play next week. So depending on the outcome of that game, it could clear up more. The more chaos there is in college football, the more that helps Cincinnati. And frankly, the better I think it is for all of us if we get to see different teams in the playoff. You know me, I just root for chaos. Let's move to the next game on the docket that we had eyes on today. That's Michigan taking on Wisconsin. 14th ranked Michigan traveling to Madison. First quarter. Michigan, a little funnier. Do you like the flea flicker, Harry?
I love the flea flicker. Every time I was a part of the flea flicker, most of the time I was blocking, but my team scored on offense, so I love the flea flicker.
Yeah, Michigan takes the early 7-0 lead. Second quarter, Dram Mertz finds Dyke for the 18-yard touchdown. Take a look at this one again. Look at that catch.
Concentration.
Love everything about that. They are fired up for that one. We're moving on. Third quarter, 3rd and long. Mertz. 2 Michigan defenders are there. They sack him. Mertz gets hurt on the play. Look at this one again. Takes just a pounding. That was it for his day.
I've been there before. I know all about those rib shots. Even if they're bruised, they still hurt, and it's painful.
Let's move on to the fourth quarter. McNamara with the nice pass here to Cornelius Johnson. Again, another touchdown. Michigan gets the 38-17 win over the Badgers in Wisconsin. A good Wisconsin team, and not a great Wisconsin team, but a good Wisconsin team. Falls to 1-3. They have not. Their record, I think, makes it look like they're a little worse than they are. But Michigan gets an important win against a defense that came in charged up to stop the run. And all of a sudden, we saw enough out of Cade McNamara to get them a win.
Well, Cade McNamara, he did his job today. And this defense for Wisconsin, yes, they stopped the run. They are the number 1 rushing defense team in the college football this season. So what did Jim Harbaugh say? Okay, we got to go to our quarterback. And what did he do the 4 games before this? He built that confidence, right? He gave them easy completions. He rushed the football. Let him build that confidence. So when you got in a football game like this today and you had to count on him to use his arm, he had the confidence to do so, and he delivered the football. So I'm proud of this young man, Cade. But not only that, I think I'm proud of Jim Harbaugh more than anything for the way he approached this football team coming into the season.
Yeah, I also think, frankly, Wisconsin played stupid football. Like, at some point, you can't have as many turnovers as they had at bad positions, bad times, bad spots on the field. Like, there's never a good spot to turn over the football. I get it. But Wisconsin, you're better than that. Like, and usually Wisconsin as a team is disciplined enough to not beat themselves. Kind of like what we talk about with Iowa all the time. Today, they were not. And I feel like they really gave a large portion of this game away. Not taking anything away from Michigan, but Wisconsin, they're going to look back at the film and really regret this one.
But Wisconsin, a team who loves to rush the football, what about that Michigan defense?
Yeah.
And the way they stopped the run today of this Wisconsin football team and not letting Graham Mertz. And we understand that he's been having trouble this college football season, completing passes and hitting wide open guys. And this Wisconsin offense has struggled in the red zone. But that Michigan defense showed up today when they needed it the most, too.
Again, the more chaos, the more teams like Michigan are sitting around saying, hey, we still want in on this playoff conversation. One team that seems locked into the playoff conversation consistently but doesn't get a lot of love is Oregon. Number 3 Oregon taking on Stanford. First quarter, Tanner McKee to Bryson Tremaine for the 18-yard touchdown there. Look at that grab again. Ty goes to the offense.
They say Ty goes to the offense. You know that's why I'm smiling, man.
Oh, my God, yeah. Harry Douglas saw that. The conference room immediately called the touchdown on it. Second quarter, Anthony Brown Jr. gets around the edge here. Bam! Goes for the berries and cream.
Dual threat guy.
Stanford leads 10-7. Picking it up later in the second, Isaiah Sanders runs in for this 2-yard touchdown. Stanford leads 17-7. Everybody getting a little puckered up. Now we get to the third quarter. C.J. Verdell, a name I don't think we've said enough as we talk about the good players in college football this year, runs in for the 1-yard touchdown. Oregon gets within a score, and all of a sudden this thing's close. Fourth quarter, second and goal, game tied at 17. What's it going to be? Is it going to be Brown Jr.? Brown Jr. giving us a little bit of the dual threat quarterback action we're not necessarily used to seeing from Oregon. Bam! Gets that touchdown, 24-17.
This Oregon football team is making me a little nervous now. After we left out of here last week, they struggled with Arizona. Now, I know the score to end the game was lopsided, but they struggled. They struggled early on with Fresno State. Now they're struggling today with Stanford. I'm asking myself, is Oregon the fourth best team in the country? I don't.
Third best?
Third best, fourth best, whatever. Are they a top 5 team right now? Because they're struggling with opponents that they should not be struggling with.
Well, and the game has taken an interesting turn as there's less than a minute left. Stanford has the ball. They're driving. Thibodeau was just ejected for targeting. So obviously that's going to change the way the defense plays. Stanford with the ball at the 31-yard line, 43 seconds left, 1st and 10. So they're about 30-ish yards away from being able to tie this game and possibly send it to overtime. Wild action. The one thing I always promise you is that we're just like you. We're hanging out sort of side-eye watching it, trying to figure out what's going on. So as there's more action, we'll make sure that you are updated on all of it. By the way, it's the College Football Show presented by AT&T 5G. He's Harry Douglas. I'm Jason Fitz. One of the things that we're going to do is get you ready for a big matchup tonight. Now, I've already mentioned a few times that Indiana is having a disappointing season. Penn State is not. Number 4, Penn State. In primetime, ABC, we know the games at Penn State always just feel different at night. Molly McGrath is in Happy Valley doing sideline for the game. She has sent us this wild report.
Molly McGrath here at Beaver Stadium. The fans got here long before I did. Nittanyville is ready for this game. Penn State taking on Indiana. And this game last year kind of started things off on the wrong foot for Penn State. They lost this game and went 0-5 to start the season, whereas Indiana finished their regular season 6-1. So this is a big momentum game. A lot of the Penn State players are still salty after last year's loss. They don't want to talk about it. They say they're not using it as motivation. But Indiana's players say that a win tonight could absolutely change their season. And this is one of those program-defining wins on the road at night in one of the toughest places to play in college football. So it should be a good one. Nittanyville is ready. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right, thanks, Molly. As always, we'll remind you guys, you can just authenticate right now, hang out in the ESPN app and watch the game right here. You don't have to go anywhere. When you work with somebody famous like Harry Douglas, he brings in famous friends. That's just what happens on this show. We're joined now by DaQuan Jones, obviously famous for Penn State and famous for the Panthers.
Big Shug.
I mean, thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. I'm excited to get your take on this. So, obviously you're still tied into all the Penn State juice. How good can this team be?
I mean, I think they can go pretty far. I mean, that defense has been playing lights out all year. I mean, they really stepped up in that Wisconsin game early on and showed they're going to be a bend but don't break team. So along that defense playing really good and the offense starts clicking like they did last week, I think this team can go pretty far.
Now, DaQuan, when you look at this Penn State team, who do you think is the toughest opponent that they're faced this year?
I mean, I think next week Iowa is going to be a tough game. I mean, every time we played in Iowa, it's been very close. The last 2 years it's been nail biters. So I think Iowa's going to be a big challenge next week.
All right, you're being all professional. I'm going to break that now, DaQuan. Let's get to the real here. Like, anytime you're in a locker room in the NFL, you got a lot of fandom for a lot of different colleges going on. So who you trash talking in that locker room?
Oh, we got the rookie Davion Nixon. He came from Iowa. So he's going to get it all year, just like Auburn did. Auburn came in, they were talking that smack all week. And then Derek Brown's wearing that Penn State lemon jacket all week, all day. So I ain't worried about it. We're gonna go to Iowa and handle business.
Man, tell the people, man, what is it like playing in the whiteout while you're attending the Penn State game? What is it like, man?
Bro, like, it's one of them things where you can't really describe it, man. You gotta be there to kind of know, what that atmosphere is like. I mean, when you go there, it's so loud. You can barely hear yourself talk. when you're on your field, man, the energy and the excitement you feel, it's just, I've never experienced that, and I've been in the league going on 8 years. I've never experienced that anywhere else in any other stadium I play in. That whiteout is just something special.
So, as we're watching players warm up before this game in that environment that's there, I think it's interesting because James Franklin is somebody that, gets a little love, but not as much love as you would think for a program that's where they are right now. Give me your assessment of the job that James Franklin has done in getting Penn State to this point.
I mean, I think he done a heck of a job. I mean, he came in, they struggled for the first 3 years they were there, and then they all bought into his culture and what he wanted to do, and they've been taking off from there. I think he's done a great job with the program and kept it afloat, and we're finally back where we need to be.
All right, so we got to get some picks going. It's time to make picks. I think we know. I mean, I have a pretty good idea where DaQuan's going to go. But as our guest, you get to go first. So who you got in this one?
No, we are, baby, Penn State, all the way.
All right, Harry, who you got in this one?
I'm going Penn State. DaQuan, I'm with you, bro.
Look, I'm hanging out right now with two people that are much larger than I am, much smarter than I am. I'm going Penn State too. I know my spot. Now, before we let you go, I know this is a college football show, but Harry, we got to get a little bit of love here on some of this NFL stuff.
Yeah, man, the Panthers are starting 3-0. You're a part of that defense that's playing so well. Y'all face the Cowboys, a big task tomorrow. What are you expecting, man? What are you expecting? How those Cowboys look to you?
I mean, they're good. I mean, Dak is playing probably his best ball, man. Coming off that injury and what he went through last year personally, he's coming out on fire, and he's leading that team very well. But, for us, we got to go out there and play how we've been playing. On defense, go out there, running around with energy, playing fast, and really just playing sound football. And for our offense to go out there and do what they do, and you know how to go, Harry. You can't really worry about one side of the ball or the other, man. Go out there and do your job and take care of yourself.
I mean, that's all so perfectly said. Just remember one thing, all right? Even though I'm a lifelong diehard Raiders fan, I on radio said that Sam Darnold would be the comeback player of the year and you guys would shock everybody. So at the end of the year when it happens, just, come hang out on Spain and Fitz.
But wait, Fitz, before we let you go, tell everybody who is King Kong and why is he King Kong? Let everybody know who King Kong is, man.
Man, that's Harry D, man. You know what I mean? He's a winner, man. That's all I can say. I can't really talk about it, but he's a winner, man.
I've known Harry for a long time and never thought of him as King Kong. It's just not that physical imposing. All right, DaQuan, we got to let you go so you can get ready for a game, man. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Good luck tomorrow, and have a great season.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
All right,
Thank you.
Don't forget, guys, you can watch Indiana take on number 4 Penn State at the bottom of the hour on ABC. All you got to do is sign in to your cable provider, and then you can just stay here. You don't have to go anywhere, and that way you can watch all the great digital content we have and the games you want to watch right there with you. He's Harry Douglas. I'm Jason Fitz, and this is the College Football Show presented by AT&T 5G. We've got more games to get into, so let's get you more highlights. Oklahoma, where the win comes, sleeping to the Kansas State matchup. 6th-ranked Oklahoma. Skylar Thompson hits Brooks here for a little flair for the 2-yard touchdown.
I like Skylar. He's a good quarterback.
I just like saying flair in a highlight read. All right, Jeremiah Hall, gets a reverse here, runs it in, gets a nice little 4-yard touchdown. It's a good play. This was a back-and-forth game. Oklahoma retakes the lead at this point, 10-7. And we'll pick it up here. 3rd quarter, Spencer Rattler going to evade defenders. Finds Michael Woods the second for a 14-yard touchdown. Look at this one. That's a nice play. Let's check it out again. It's so pretty.
I see you, Spence. This was a big game for him, especially losing to Kansas State last year, having a lot of interceptions. I like how he bounced back, especially from last week when they were chanting for the backup quarterback to come in and play.
Pick it up in the 4th quarter, up by 10. Rattler hits Jeremiah Hall for that counts as a pass, 2-yard shuffle pass, and the score, 34-17. Kansas State would have one last punch, though, 1:30 left in the game. Malik Knowles for Kansas State, 93 yards. Swiggity, swooty, he's going for the booty.
This is just one of those things. If you're Oklahoma, you cannot have this happen. You have to secure this win. You have to tackle him and let your defense get a stop to secure the win.
Kansas State would never allow themselves to just lay down. This was a back-and-forth matchup, but a tough win. The Sooners get a big win, 37-31. Look at the efficiency from Spencer Rattler, somebody we've been tough on this show. 22 of 25 for 243 with 2 touchdowns. And, realistically, we've been tough on Lincoln Riley. We've been tough on Spencer Rattler. this was the sort of game that you looked at and said, all right, this is how it's supposed to come together. When you have somebody like Spencer Rattler, this is what we expect. And I will not apologize for being tough on a Heisman caliber quarterback when he comes in and doesn't play well. He hasn't played well today. He did. Tip of the cap. That's what Oklahoma's going to need if they want to be a legitimate playoff team, Harry.
And I think just going into every game, Lincoln Riley in this Oklahoma offense needs to understand that, okay, a lot of teams are going to drop 8. They're going to force us to methodically work this football down the football field. So we need to call plays, and if you're Spencer Rattler, you need to take what the defense gives you. That's what they did today. Oklahoma came out with the victory. Is it in the fashion that they probably want to do it in with the big splash plays every second of every possession? No. But as long as you're being efficient, as long as you're scoring, and as long as you're winning, then who cares if there's splash plays or not? Who cares?
There's one thing I can guarantee you on the College Football Show presented by AT&T 5G. There is drama every single week. A major matchup has gone into overtime. We'll show you how it happened in a second. But first, we want to get you caught up on Ohio State taking on Rutgers. And this was a blowout. Noah Vedral was picked off by Burke. Burke takes it to the house for a thick 6.
Oh, that defense finally decided to show up.
Oh, yeah, you're not wrong about that. That takes them up 14-0. C.J. Stroud, much different-looking quarterback today to Garrett Wilson for 32 yards on this one and a touchdown. Ohio State up 24-zip.
And Rutgers just don't have the guys on the back end to actually keep up with these premier wide receivers that's going to be first-round draft picks in the NFL next year.
You talk about athleticism all the time, and it shows up every Saturday. Stroud here to Rutgers for the 19-yard touchdown. Ohio State getting up 38-6. This was one of those games where everything had to go right for Rutgers, everything had to go wrong for Ohio State. Neither of those things happened. Stroud here avoids the pressure. Chris Olave, remember him? Under talked about this year too. 56 yards. He decides he'd like to build a house in that little area of property known as the end zone.
Oh, that boy good.
And that's a wrap for Ohio State. They get the 52-13 win over Rutgers. Just an absolute butt kicking. I kind of wondered if this would happen for Ohio State, coming back and making a statement that in the chaos that is this existing environment of college football, they're not out of it.
No, they're not by a long shot. And I think Ohio State, right, and Ryan Day in this offense, C.J. Stroud, this was a big game for his confidence, right? Hey, C.J., we're still in it. We still believe in you. Go out there and do your thing. We're going to pass this football. Travion Henderson, another big day. Another big rushing day for that young freshman. I was about to say rookie. I'm stuck on this NFL stuff, man.
That's what
Another
happens,
big day for that freshman. But Ohio State is not out of anything. They're right in the thick of everything, especially what you see how the college football is transpiring now today. You have a lot of parity, so do not count them out whatsoever because they're still in it.
We'll keep you caught up on the breaking news as it happens. We got a game going overtime. You'll see it in a second. First, Harry's just going to take this highlight off because a certain team battled Wake Forest. I've got to read it. It's the job. Dave Clawson, number 24, Wake Forest, taking on Harry's Louisville Cardinals. Sam Hartman with time rolls to his right, finds A.T. Perry for the 7-yard tutty here.
A great
Wake goes
job
up
scrambling
34-27.
and finding the receiver. Great job.
Now Louisville's next possession. Malik Cunningham finds Tyler Harrell over the middle. Gets past the safety, 75 yards.
That boy is fast. They say he runs a 4.19, 4.2. You're not catching Harrell. Sorry.
Every defender there looked like they took a bad angle. I think they just didn't realize he was that dang fast. Picking it up here, Hartman finds Donald Stewart, 7 yards. Under 2 minutes to go, Wake's on the move. And then Nick Skiba hits the 29-yard field goal. Wake goes up 37-34. Now, Harry still had a chance. Cunningham hits Brian Hudson. Starts the lateral fast. Eventually, though.
There's a chance. There's a chance. There's a chance. There's a chance. There's still a chance.
Yeah, never let the big guy have the ball like that. Like, it's not going to go well. 37-34 is the final. Louisville almost pulls off the upset. Harry almost gets the point in our upset pick with the morning show and almost got to watch the win as a, famous alum. But it didn't work out for you.
This was a big win for Wake Forest, staying undefeated. Wake Forest is in the driver's seat right now as Boston College plays Clemson. They're the only 2 undefeated teams left in the ACC, so we're going to see how they do tonight against the Clemson Tigers.
Yeah, and this ACC matchup's going to be interesting as well. Interesting is overtime, and that's what we now have in Stanford versus Oregon. Check this play out here. Stanford down by 7. Tanner McGee to Elijah Higgins with no time on the clock to get the game tying touchdown. Oh, my God.
I know Mina Kimes is cringing right now because it's a goal line fade, but if he's taller than everybody else, just throw it up to him, Mina. Just throw it up to him.
Yeah, this has been a game where C.J. Verdell's been held in check a little bit compared to what we expected. You see the numbers there on Tyler McKee with 17 to 31, 203, and 2 touchdowns. Elijah Higgins, a big chunk of that, 5 catches, 58 yards, and the time expiring touchdown. This game is now in overtime. As we get updates, we'll let you know.
This is a new ball game now. Anything can happen at this point. So if you're Oregon, don't panic. Don't go in panic mode. Just relax, do what you do, and get a stop and score, and the game's over.
I think it's an important note, too, that we had last week, and I'm not sure we had time in the chaos to give you as one of the games was in overtime. Remember that now in the second overtime, you're forced to go for 2. So all of a sudden, overtime takes a much different dynamic. Like the first overtime, you can kick the extra point, see if you can stop them. After that, everything gets kind of chaotic. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays off as Stanford is trying to make sure that another sort of thorn goes in the side of the College Football Playoff Committee. They're going to have a tough job. Let's take a look at some of the best plays from throughout the course of the day. It's time to get a little farm action here, Harry. You ready? Like, Harry, you seem like you'd be a heck of a farmer.
Moo. Yes, I will. Yes, I will.
Oh, look at that. That's what we did.
Go, Fitz. Go, Fitz. Go.
All right, let's move into the first highlight here. How you like what I did there? And this is Brennan Armstrong for Virginia. Throws an ill-advised deep pass into coverage, but it bounces off the defenders. And Wicks gets the unbelievable grab. Harry Douglas, look at this.
Man, you talk about concentration. You talk about never giving up on a play. And come on, Miami, what are you doing? It basically defines their season. But I'm going to give this young man, Mr. Wicks, a 100.
Woo!
Because of concentration, and Virginia won this football game.
I mean, you're giving it the big 100 right out of the gate. Soft grader. But one thing we know is when that went to review, Wicks said, I don't know, might have hit the ground. Like, there's no way he knew. Let's take a look at the next play. This comes from Georgia, Arkansas. Junior will appreciate the fact that we're getting some hog mollies in here. Look at this again. Georgia's Jalen Carter blocks 3 Arkansas defenders by himself.
Get out of my way, little boy.
I mean, that's 3 defenders at one time.
I'm a grown man. Get out of my way, little boy.
I'm going to give this a score. Look, we're giving big guys love, and it's important. You know, we've got a lot of friends here that are former offensive linemen.
Which your grandma used to say, I'm going to learn you something, boy. I'm going to learn you something. Not teach you. I'm going to learn you something.
My grandma never said that, but I'm giving this a 63. 63. Block the whole line, and then I'll be impressed. I got to be tough on the big guys. Like the big guys, yeah. Harry's still like worried about what, Grandma said. My great Aunt Eunice more likely to drop that one. All right, Harry, ready for the next play?
Let's
got
go.
a little Purdue action here. Garrett Miller, 6'5", 245 pounds. It's important to note that because he goes, whoop.
Oh, man, I see him up, but not far enough. Fitz, have you ever did yoga before?
Oh, yeah. Hot yoga is a delight.
I got to call Coach Jeff Brom and tell him to send this guy to our yoga specialist so he can get a little bit more yoga in.
Wait, he's 6'5", 245. That's not bendy enough for you? By the way, look at that headshot. He looked good in a tie. What are you giving this?
I'm going to give it a 74. Just a 74.
Man, you are not easily impressed. I'm just saying. All right, I'll give my shot at maybe fixing things here. Let's take a look at Temple's Jaden Blue. And this is just, in the words of Matchbox 20, smooth.
Oh, wow.
Look at that. Smooth catch, right? It was nice.
Oh, he was trying to show out.
Look at the rollout here.
He was trying to show out.
Look at the throw. And then he says, oh, I got it. Problem is he made it look too easy. I mean, I got to score this thing, so I decided that the only score appropriate for it's a 77. Between the gloves and the fact that he was wide open, I'm not that impressed.
77? I would have given it a little lower score, but...
Oh, a lower score. Now he's a tough judge. So, all right, I see how it goes. All right, let's take a look at Western Michigan here. As Zaire Barnes with the hit stick sack. Look at this. Boom!
Oh, somebody forgot to block him.
Now, as my mom used to say, sit down, shut up, and color in your book. That's true. My mom did used to say that.
Or, like my parents used to tell me, boy, shut up when grown folks are talking.
That's all. You're giving this a what?
A 92.
All he did was run up and hit somebody,
Listen,
and you're giving it a 92?
We used to have this saying, hit, stick, talk. I can't say it on air. You fill in the blank.
Spit. Like, talk spit. That's what he was going to... Oh.
Hit, stick, talk,
spit.
Fill in the blank.
All right, let's go to the next. USC's Drake London. We got these one-handed grabs going out today. Look at this one.
Ooh.
I mean, he pressed the spin button at the same time that he pressed the turbo button and the jump button. Like, that takes a lot of work.
There's a reason why he's one of the top receivers in college football this year. I see you, Mr. London.
I don't know, though. I had to score this. I gave it an 83. Again, the guy covering him kind of small. Like, all he did was turn around and catch a football with sticky gloves. I'm not all that impressed.
He had a guy draped all on him.
Oh, well, I mean, you're not impressed with the yoga jumping. I'm not impressed with, the one-handed sticky glove grab.
No, because he wouldn't have cleared this table right here.
Well, I can't clear that table. All right, that's Holy Cow. Those are your best plays. Now let's get you to the big stories from the course of the day. Obviously, in some blowout fashion, Arkansas, Georgia will give you a little bit of sneak peek into this game again. Stetson Bennett finds Kenny McIntosh for a 27-yard gain here early on in this game. You thought, well, maybe Arkansas would normalize, but it did not happen. Kendall Minton here with the 1-yard touchdown run. Georgia up 14-0.
Put those big boys on offense from the defensive side. Big boys need love, too.
Oh, look at that. And now, just when Arkansas's like, fine, we'll just wait to see another play. No, we won't. Block punt. White with the ball and scores. Georgia goes up 21-0.
Make sure you block the people that are closest to blocking the punt.
That's good advice. Let's pick it up in the fourth quarter. Zamir White just takes it and just trucks it and goes into the end zone.
Not only can he recover punt blocks for touchdowns, but he's running touchdowns as well.
This is a 37-0 butt whooping over Arkansas. And, Harry, I said it earlier. If I had a vote in the AP Top 20 poll, I would have Georgia, as the number one team in the country. I think this is the most impressive win we've seen all season. For Georgia to beat an Arkansas team with that defense and to make them look that terrible in the process. I know we'll talk about Alabama and Ole Miss and what that means, but I thought a lot of this Arkansas defense. My question was Arkansas going to be able to score any points? And the answer to that, clearly no. But the number one question we've had all year about Georgia is, can their offense function? Stetson Bennett playing today, not JT Daniels, and they didn't look like they missed a beat. They didn't even need a quarterback. You and I could have played quarterback. Georgia came in and showed how complete they are. They won defensively. They won offensively. They won with special teams. They showed they're the most complete team in the country right now. I think Georgia is better than Alabama.
And I think one of the things that you keep seeing from Georgia week in and week out is they keep having guys show up that are making plays for them offensively. And one of the things that Kirby Smart understands as a head coach is that, okay, let's not let our offense lose us the football game because our defense is just that damn good. You see Nakobe Dean. You see Adam Anderson. You see Big Wyatt. And then not only that, you got big Jordan Davis making plays. And once you go through that wave, you have the next 4- and 5-star wave coming in, making plays, harassing the quarterback. That defense is flying around. They're playing physical football. And if Georgia doesn't win the national championship this year, I don't know when they will be able to win it.
I mean, I feel like I've been saying a lot lately, all these great recruiting classes for Georgia, when does it pay dividends?
Yeah.
The answer is right now. You look defensively, they're so stinking talented, it's not even funny. By the way, quickly, we're looking at 31-24 in overtime right now. Stanford is beating number 3 Oregon. Oregon with the ball and the opportunity to match. So we'll let you know how that goes. In the meantime, let's get you caught up on another big game from today, and that's Cincinnati taking on Notre Dame. This was the win that Cincinnati needed, 24-13. They get the win over Notre Dame. Notre Dame did not look good, which is the theme for the year. I mean, the dreaded eye test is not going to be favorable to Notre Dame throughout the course of the season. This was not a great outing for Notre Dame, partially because I believe a lot in Cincinnati. The question is, did Cincinnati, in your mind, become a top 4 team, which is what they'd have to do to make the playoff?
Right now, if we're talking about playing in consideration the Oregon game?
Yeah.
I would say top 5.
So if you and I are in the college football playoff committee, and I've done the mock selection a few times. It's really interesting down in Dallas. Like, you sit there and debate these things. You look at their resumes. You look at their records. You look at everything there is to know, even what players were eliminated from games when. All of these different things are factored in. So let's put you and I on the committee for a second. We both agree we don't even have to have a conversation. We can just eat the fancy donuts while we talk about Alabama and Georgia, right? They're both in. So now we have 2 slots left. You have an Oregon team right now that is waiting to see how overtime plays out, right? You have Penn State, Iowa ahead. You have Oklahoma ahead. So where would you put Cincinnati in with those teams? You got 2 teams that you can make here. So Oregon, Iowa, Penn State, Cincinnati, Oklahoma.
Well, I'll tell you this. This is why this Oregon-Stanford game is so significant right now. Because if Oregon loses his football game,
then they're down.
Then they're done, and then Cincinnati jumps another spot. The thing that Oregon can hang their hat on right now is that they beat Ohio State, right? And if Ohio State keeps winning in a Big Ten that I think is better than a lot of people actually give credit for, gives it credit for, they can make a case that they need to be in as well, even though they lost to Oregon. You know what I mean? So yeah, for Cincinnati, I just feel like if they just keep winning and keep winning convincingly, let college football handle the rest, right? You just do your part, and I think this is just the year that you're going to have teams that lose. Do I think Georgia and Alabama's going to lose? They have to lose one game because I have them playing in the SEC championship game, but they're going to get in regardless. Now you look at those other two slots. Is Oklahoma going to pick it up? Because right now I have an undefeated Oklahoma team.
Would you put Cincinnati or Oklahoma in the playoff? Just
right
those
now?
two teams. Yeah, today. You have to make a choice between Oklahoma and
Cincinnati.
Okay. And is that because you think on a neutral field, if you had to bet your house, Cincinnati against Oklahoma straight up, who do you think wins that game?
I'm taking Cincinnati.
So Cincinnati, we agree on that. I think Cincinnati's a better team today than Oklahoma. So if Cincinnati's a better team, the rest of this can really work itself out because, again, Iowa's going to play Penn State, right? So those two are going to collide, which is going to, in theory, drop one of them below Cincinnati too. So the runway is there. The question is, what can they do with that runway? But to your point, I don't think Cincinnati just has to win the rest of the way. They have to win in a way that's going to make every doubter. You can't leave anybody a reason to say, yeah, but. And that's just real. Fair or not, we're not on the committee, and you don't want to leave a reason for somebody on the committee to say, yeah, but. Let's get you caught up on the Florida-Kentucky game. Kentucky came in undefeated. Wasn't sure what they would look like. It's 10-7 at the half. So number 10, Florida, getting everything they can handle from Kentucky, and I don't think either of us are surprised by this.
No, I'm not at all. You see Wayndale Robinson, one of the top guys, I think, in college football when it comes to the wide receiver position. And I meant to bring a banana in here. So Levis, who likes to eat bananas with the peel on them, I meant to give it to you so you can actually on camera try to eat it and see what that tastes like.
Bananas are disgusting. I'm not eating a banana. Let's go. Like I'm a child. Banana ice cream, great. Banana runts, great. Banana candy, great. Actual bananas and bananas. I just made up a new word. Actual bananas. You know what I would say to actual bananas? Bruh. All right, we've celebrated the good throughout the course of the show, but we also get to celebrate the bad. It's time for Bruh, delivered by Pizza Hut. We'll show you some of the worst moments or the most questionable moments that had Harry particularly screaming, Bruh, in the conference room. And we start with Texas. DaQuan Jones getting the sack here. And after he gets the sack, you get a sack, you want a good celebration, Harry. He gets up, does his best, gritty. What
bruh, what is he doing? The funky chicken?
He's dancing.
Come on, bruh. What is that, the funky chicken?
It's an interpretive move. Look, as a guy that can't dance, I am all in for all of this. All right, let's move next to Georgia. Uga, not amused. Probably thought it would be a better game. He's like, bruh, it's hot out here. I just need a little water. Somebody leave me alone.
Bruh, I don't have time for this kicking. Bruh, I don't have time to be watching this blowout. Bruh, can y'all take me inside so I can take a nap and go to sleep in my bed?
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him, by the way. It was a snoozer of a matchup. Let's go to Wisconsin. Hey, Wisconsin, just stop doing jump around. My God, we said it last week. You were ahead, and then you got thumped. And now they're doing jump around but they're down 10 in the fourth quarter to a rival. What are we doing?
Bruh, they are unbelievably crazy. But guess what? Michigan was blowing the whole crowd as well because Michigan started dancing to the jump around sound because they were winning.
Yeah, I mean, instead of jump around, it was more lay down for Wisconsin today. All right, let's get to a little bit of Oregon here. Anthony Brown Jr. intercepted by Gabe Reed.
Fitz, I think I need.
You putting on glasses?
I need our screen for this one, Fitz.
All right, we're getting. Harry here is upset.
Bruh, maybe we not seeing the same thing, Anthony Brown, but bruh, I'm pretty sure that was a defender right there in front of you, and you decided to throw right in front of him. But I'm going to give you these glasses so we can see the same thing, bruh.
Yeah, well, look at you. That's so polite of you. Also, you look great in glasses. Let's get to one more bruh in here, and it's really about all things Lane Kiffin. Look at this. 3 fourth downs on opening drive attempted 4 fourth downs in the first quarter. 5 fourth downs in the first half. Hell, in the second half, they had to talk him out of going forward on his own 10-yard line. We've been talking about this all show, but, bruh, Lane Kiffin, you let your whole squad down.
Bruh, your team has been practicing too hard, playing too hard for you to make these stupid decisions. Yes, I said it, Fitz. Stupid decisions.
Yeah,
going forward on your own 31. Going forward on your own 47. Next thing you know, Alabama has scored touchdown after touchdown. Come on, bruh. Yeah. Lane Kiffin, that is definitely leaning towards you. All of it.
Maybe Kiffin's just a better tweeter than he is a coach. What, bruh?
Bro, I may feel you on that one.
All right, let's get you a live look in here. Baylor taking on Oklahoma State. This is on ESPN2 right now. And these are two teams, frankly, Harry, that aren't getting a ton of attention. And, realistically, it's part of the way we cover college football, right? Like, we become so top-heavy with the top 10. But these are two teams that are having good seasons and have a lot to be really encouraged about the growth of their programs. Two programs that are undefeated. And, I feel like we'll be spending more time talking about both of these programs by the end of the year.
I think so. I agree with you, Fitz. Both of these teams, like you just mentioned, are undefeated. But I like Jalen Warren, the running back for Oklahoma State. Right now, he has 12 carries, 62 yards, and a touchdown. Sanders, quarterback for Oklahoma State, a guy who's been there a while. I want to see his progression. I want to see him make smart decisions and lead this football team and lead this offense. But you look at the offensive side, the opposite side. You look at Baylor. You look at Dave Aranda. You look at Bohannon. You look at that crew. I'm interested to see how they're going to be able to respond. They're down right now 7-0. A lot of time left in this game, but I want to see how they're going to respond.
Well, and to that point, a couple of years ago when I was traveling with Game Day for Countdown to Game Day, which is one of our great digital shows you should watch, 8:30 a.m. Eastern, Harry Lyles and Christine Douglas do a great job. Christine, you're Harry Douglas. Harry Lyles and Christine Williamson do a great job on that show. Sorry, Christine. We went to Baylor a couple of years ago because it was that magical year, right? And I was really curious. Aranda comes in. Can he keep a little bit of the Rule magic? Nice pick there. And the answer to that has been yes. Like, Baylor genuinely looks like they're set to be good for a while. And that's tough for programs to do. When a coach leaves and you want to think it was all that coach, and you still have success.
I understand what you're saying, but what did I just talk about with the veteran quarterback Sanders, right? I want to see your progression. I want to see, can you take care of the football? I want to see, can you lead this Oklahoma State football team to victory? What happens? The Baylor defense came up big. They've been playing very, very well this year. They got the takeaway. They got the interception.
I got to admit, Harry and I have been friends for years. We've been working together for a couple of months really regularly on this show. If there's one thing that I've learned from Harry Douglas, as a former wide receiver, I'm not sure much in the world makes him angrier than balls that are just thrown way too high. Like, if you're not even giving the guy a shot, like, it just absolutely kills Harry. Every time he sees one, like, if the receiver doesn't take the route in a way that lets him get to the ball, or if the ball is thrown high, that's what makes Harry go.
And you see right there, the wide receiver or the tight end, I couldn't see which one it was actually open. The ball was just overthrown. And tips and overthrows, I'll say it every week. Tips and overthrows lead to turnovers.
Well, let's get you another live look in here because we've got the power to do that on the College Football Show presented by AT&T 5G. This is Kentucky taking on Florida. Again, we mentioned it, Kentucky undefeated, and I feel like Kentucky came in with absolutely no street cred coming from most people on this matchup, even people I talk to that I think know the program well. And I said, hey, do they have a shot? The best answer I got from anybody was maybe 30%. Well, they're hanging with them so far. And Will Levis, for anyone that hasn't watched, a big part of why he's played really smart football. Penn State transfer, living that life down there. He's played smart football for them this year.
And when you look at Stoops, their head coach, he is the longer tenured guy in the SEC. Right underneath Nick Saban, I believe.
Yeah. That's crazy to me.
I think he's under Nick Saban. I think he's the second most tenured head coach in the SEC.
Well, and what's amazing about Kentucky football in general is, like, this is a program that was sort of left for dead not that long ago. And then around the time Stoops came in, they made significant investments. I mean, they started building practice facilities and made sure that they had sort of something that gives them the opportunity to compete, which is something they take a lot of pride in on the basketball side. They did what they needed to on the football side, and you've seen returns.
Speaking about pride, something that neither one of these teams has taken when it comes to third downs. Florida right now is 1 for 5 on third downs. Kentucky right now is 0 for 4 on third downs in this ballgame.
Now, it's tough to ask a wide receiver if there was pass interference because I'm not sure you've ever seen an incompletion that didn't look like pass interference. But if they show us a replay here, let's see what you think of this contact down the field because I love him taking the shot. He got turned around right there already. And then
the first problem I have with that route, he's looking too early. You're not going to catch that post route as soon as you as soon as you make that cut on the post. Put your head down, dig for about 5 to 8 yards, then look up in the sky. It's going to be there. He probably wouldn't even got grabbed right there, but he's looking for the football too early. You're not going to catch the football as soon as you break.
All right, let's get you caught up on another game here. We're going to flip over, I think, after this play. So we'll see one more from Kentucky, Florida. Oh, just a bit outside, Will. And now we take a look at Texas A&M taking on Mississippi State. Just because it's fun for me to say Mississippi State. And what do we got here? Number 15, Texas A&M, tied right now at 10-10. And at Texas A&M, this is the Obi-Wan Kenobi. I use this every week. Like, the help me, Obi-Wan, you're my only hope. Like, A&M's got Alabama coming up. Like, if we all think that there's a shot somebody could knock them off, maybe it's A&M, but I also keep looking at it and saying, is this Jimbo squad really good enough to do that? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. But if they happen to do that, even though they lost to Arkansas, they still have something to fight for. But if you're Jimbo Fisher, I want to see him dive deeper into this offense and don't be so vanilla. You have too many playmakers on this offense to be so vanilla. And I didn't like what I seen from them against Arkansas last week. And it's looking like things aren't going much better against Mississippi State this week.
Yeah, and I continually look at Texas A&M and say, you didn't pay Jimbo to come over and lose one game, unless that one game is a national championship.
You didn't pay him all that oil money, you're right.
Yeah, you're paying him all that money to come over and win national championships.
I said oil money.
Oil money?
Make sure you say oil money.
Yeah, you didn't pay him all that oil money to make sure that he looks like he's got one objective. If you're Texas A&M, the way they spend, the only objective is a national championship. So this season has got to be saved, and in order to save it, they're going to have to make sure that they play lights out the rest of the year. There's no other option on it. So we'll see how this game goes moving forward, but they shouldn't even be close with these teams. They need to start blowing people out. They need to start asserting their dominance.
And that was a great play by the best player on the football field, Lil, a guy who's going to be a top 10, top 11 draft pick this year in the 2022
I think top 5
NFL draft.
So he'd get after it. That's a great play. All right, let's get you the highlight you need, because every Saturday, I tell you, there's going to be one. Well, this is it. This is overtime. Stanford Cardinal getting the touchdown there. And as they get the touchdown, that puts them up 31-24. In overtime, we pick it up with the chance to answer. We all know that's the way it works. Anthony Brown rolls out. Incomplete on 4th and 8. Stanford holds on. Shout out to my buddy Eddie Pascal. Suffering right now, lifelong diehard Oregon fan. I know your pain, buddy. Eddie, I'm here for you. 31-24. The number 3 team in all the land has fallen. And now, yet again, just when you think like, okay, did you watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
No.
Have you ever seen? Okay. First and foremost, we're going to have to fix that. Like, you need to start watching Always Sunny in Philadelphia. But there's a segment in that where, like, Charlie Day is trying to point at a map, and he's got all these pictures everywhere, and he's, like, trying to draw everything, and he's losing his mind. That's the College Football Playoff Committee right now, because Oregon takes a loss, which means the entire playoff picture just got that much more clouded.
Well, I'll tell you one team who's probably setting off fireworks right now. That's the Cincinnati Bearcats after they win against a top 10 opponent, Notre Dame. So I know they're very happy right now. But what did I say right before we left this game? It's overtime. It's a new ball game. Anything can happen right now. Oregon has just been upset by Stanford. David Shaw, I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong. Kudos to you, man.
Yeah, well, the playoff picture just got twisted. You know, it sounds like a fun time. How about dropping in as we take a look at some of the crazy and twisted plays from Week 5 presented by Twisted Tea. This week you don't match last week you had like a little blue and yellow action going. It was really suave.
I'm focused on the now, Fitz. I'm focused on the now.
That's what makes him a champion and what makes me the frumpy co-host. All right, let's get to the first. I don't know why I just called myself frumpy. Arkansas, a day to forget. Reed Bowers punt blocked by Dan Jackson. Zamir White recovers for a touchdown. Beautiful play.
Not only could he rush the football, but he can recover the football in the end zone for a touchdown. Shout out to Georgia's special team making those Twisted Tea plays this week.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any worse for them. All right, let's take a look at the next play. Taylor Morin here from Wake Forest makes an incredible catch. I thought you'd appreciate this, Harry Douglas. He goes up, and away. Comes down with the ball.
That's a great job of concentrating, understanding that safety's going to come over and hit you, but you still focused on the football. You got your foot in, secured the catch. God, those Demon Deacons beat my Louisville Cardinals.
He's playing like a guy that loves berries and cream, and I thought you were going to say it was a good shot by me getting my voice way up there. All right, let's get here. Zared Cooper's pass intercepted by Singletary. One-handed. Oh, getting a little Kennesaw love in here. Look at this. Look at this. Go, Gadget, arm. I want the ball.
I always tell you, tips and overthrows end up in a turnover for the defense. And Zeke Coop, he went to my high school. Come on, Zeke.
Oh, look at that. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, that will always remind me of a big guy that sees a cinnamon roll about to hit the floor at the buffet line. Like suddenly your arm gets really bendy, you keep that thing off the ground. Those are your twisted plays. From the twisted to the best, it's time now for the best plays, brought to you by Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. Had one today. It was a delight. Georgia's Amir White shows off his insane balance and strength. That's the best one.
That boy must have did gymnastics growing up. Well, I do know he does yoga. What that tight end from Purdue probably needed to do.
Yeah, you're all in on this yoga thing. I think, suddenly I feel like Harry and I are going to start prepping the show in the yoga studio.
Fitz, breathe through your nose. Breathe through your nose.
Yeah, I'm I'm not very bendy, though, so I need, hot yoga because it helps the hamstrings actually get a little looser. We're good with that? All right. Now, I guess we'll move on. Coastal Carolina, Devin McCormick jumps the snap perfectly, blocks the punt, and then says, you know what? Scoop, there it is. Never gets old for the score. Great play by McCormick to block the punt on that aqua turf.
For special teams, you're always coached to, hey, score or set up a score. But if you just score yourself, you're good to go.
Oh, look at that. I mean, just get it all up. Now let's go over to Stanford. The big winner, the big upset today. Here's one of their best plays. Bryson Tremaine goes up, makes the grab. Does he have it? Harry?
Yes, he does. The tie goes to the receiver all day, every day, Fitz.
Athletes that tell you they hate ties are not wide receivers, because I worked with one today that reminded me how often ties are a win for wide receivers. All right, let's take a look at Boise State here. We're getting all the colorful fields going on here. Boise State's Khalil Shakir. Look at that grab.
Wow.
Look at that grab. Nobody stood a chance.
I like this play, but you know what I do like as well? It's October. Wear the orange uniforms then.
I mean, the uni combo is fire with all of this. I'm in love with all of that. All
Happy
right.
Halloween.
Those are, now I just want a Coke Zero Sugar and a delight. All right, let's check out some. We're going to do something new here. We're going to check out some of what's going on in the college football Twitter sphere with our tweets of the day presented by AT&T 5G. We're going to show you some of the best tweet action we got. This is a reminder that the more you tweet, the more likely that you're going to have your tweets read in the show. So let's peep some CFB tweets, and we start with a little Purdue action here. And I love this. I love the decision, pouring rain. Have you ever belly flopped in the rain?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
But I've never seen a woman belly flop in the rain.
No, that's fair. I once tried to do the worm on stage during a concert and did not realize how difficult the worm is to do, so it looked like a belly flop. That's the closest I've come. Harry is not having my worm. All right, let's move to the next tweet of the day. Oh, this comes from Chris Manini. As he says, Georgia leads Arkansas 21-0 in the first quarter, giving us a little Shane Beamer action there.
I'm laughing at this one because Sam Pittman was probably like, oh my goodness, I've seen it before. I used to coach over there, but man, I sure see that Georgia defense.
Oh, it's
a different ball game.
That is delight. Let's go to some sad fans here from Wisconsin. Matt Burns tweeted out some sad fan action here. Oh, the second one's just trying to keep the head from burning. Maybe, I don't know.
It's gonna be okay. It's just not your day.
You know what happens here, though? This becomes a thing because now, whenever you see, Cobra and everybody talks about Cobra, I find myself, because I no longer sit during Raiders games, doing that, and then I'm like, oh, my God, I can't believe I did that. Now I've become one of those. Let's look at another reaction here. This is a GIF reaction to Braylon Sanders' catch from earlier. Oh, my God. By the way, it's pronounced GIF, not GIF. The guy that invented the technology told us so. So that ends that debate.
I need to find this GIF.
Yeah, GIF.
GIF. Okay.
GIF.
I need to find this GIF.
Oh, man. Let's go to one more. Colonel Corndog. When your name's at Colonel Corndog, you get in the show. Nick Saban today. Oh, that's a delight because we heard Lane Kiffin tell us all, hope you brought your popcorn.
Where's the camera? Put me on the two shot, y'all. Put me on the two shot.
Yeah, Harry's
sorry.
Going for it. He's calling out his own camera shot.
I'm Nick Saban.
Uh-huh.
This is Lane Kiffin. Across my lap. I tell you about going for it on fourth down. You're not the coach who's supposed to do it on fourth down. I'm the coach who does it on fourth down. Nick Saban against his successors, 24-0. Guys, y'all might as well just stop trying. It's not working.
I'm not sure why you spank something every week on the show, but it's making me less and less comfortable every week. Let's get to my top four. I get to rank stuff, so I thought I'd make everybody mad by ranking my Fitz 4. And this 4, you might ask yourself, why are these 4 teams on the list? These are the 4 worst college football teams. Now, some of this is because of expectation, right? Kansas is in at number 4, and I believe in Lance Leipold, the coach there. I think over time he's going to turn it around. But let's face it, on Saturday when you wake up, you realize it sucks to be a Kansas fan. At number 3, Florida State. Can we confirm? Did they lose to? Can somebody confirm? Because they actually tied it to Syracuse. This was made before they gave Syracuse a battle. But the fact that Syracuse is a battle tells you everything about what it's like.
The funny thing, I got a $50 coin today for the first time in a long time, and it had the year 1974 on it. You know what happened in 1974? Huh? That's the last time Florida State started 0-4. Just saying.
So, you know, they won. Florida State won. So I apologize, Seminoles fans. I shouldn't make fun of you on your down day, but it still sucks to be you. At number 2, UConn, because Connecticut does have a football program, but Dan Orlovsky is the only person you've ever heard of that seemed to play there. And they sell his bobbleheads in the local toy store used all these years later. So that's reason enough to be at number 2. And number 1, when the thing that you're known most about, other than your spectacular baseball program, is your championship women's bowling team, you don't have a football program. Vandy, this is my weekly reminder that you stink.
They play football?
You know what? Just come out every week with a all white unis, because like you wave the white flag of defeat every time you step on the field. Note, I did not put UNLV on this list because I'm still trying to secure.
They have a football program?
Yeah. I'm still trying to secure some free stuff, so I don't want to make UNLV mad yet.
They have a football program at Vandy?
Sort of.
Oh, I guess. I wouldn't have known.
Here's what I know. Harry Douglas and I will be back in these chairs looking so pretty at 11 p.m. Eastern for the wrap-up from 11 to 11:30. You can hang out on all the digital platforms all Saturday. It starts with Countdown to Game Day, and then it gets to us. This has been the College Football Show presented by AT&T 5G. For Harry Douglas, I'm Jason Fitz. For everybody behind the scenes that makes this show happen, thank you for hanging out with us.